Good evening, VV Nation. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel. It's Thursday, and we're going to do a semiconductor Thursday. It's been a while. Last couple weeks, I've been talking about AMD, NVIDIA, TSM, great bottom fishing opportunities. We all know with the AI revolution, the demand for new data centers, foreign investment. We saw the foreign investment from the Saudi Arabia sovereign fund yesterday, right? $600 billion, SoftBank pledging money. A lot of countries around the world want a piece of the AI pie. That being said, right, there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to semiconductors. And the name of the game, let's find the next NVIDIA, right? You see the beach right behind me? That's the goal for everybody, right? Make some money, do what you want, live life, be happy. And the way to do that is financial freedom. So we're going to utilize the VectorVest 7 system in tonight's presentation to try to find the next upcoming semiconductor companies that have the potential of thriving during the AI revolution. So if this is something that you're interested in, stick around and let's get started. All right, now that we're in the VectorVest 7 software, we're on the Unisearch part of the program. Right now, we're looking for the next NVIDIA. You can see that I just ran the search as of today for my stock parameters. We've got stock growth rate. This is growth rate in earnings. Forecasted data has to be greater than 20%. Now, sales growth rate has to be greater than 40%. We want sales growth rate to be greatly outpacing earnings growth rate. Look at it this way. If earnings is the engine to drive the stock price higher, sales is going to be the fuel for that engine, right? We want a lot of fuel to take that stock price even higher. That being said, NVIDIA has always displayed a higher sales growth rate than an earnings growth rate. You can see, phenomenal numbers here coming in at 78% growth rate in earnings, 41%. Now, the last item as far as a parameter, I just filtered the database to semiconductors, both industries. We've got semiconductor equipment and semiconductor manufacturing. So if all of the semiconductors that we're tracking, which include AMD, TSM, ASML, Micron, a lot of big names here, right? These are the ones that came in the list. Right now I put the top 20. These are the only stocks to appear. Other than NVIDIA, we've got 8 stocks to look at this evening. We can see for the most part, not getting a lot of safety here with these type of positions. We do have some with an RV above 1 here. If we take a look, highlight the ones. RV looks at long-term price appreciation potential with Advantis leading the charge at 1.58. That's the highest RV in the list other than NVIDIA. And their overall value, safety, and timing scores, their VST scores here, majority of the stocks in the list are above 1. And we've got some buy ratings here. If we take a look at the growth rate, earnings, sales growth rate, phenomenal numbers. Some of these numbers in the sales growth rate over 100%. So these companies have excellent forecasted data. They're in a hot space, so let's take a look at the chart and see what opportunities are presenting themselves. All right, we all know about NVIDIA. I've done a lot of videos on NVIDIA, trying to keep you on the right side of the trade. If it's made you some money, put a 1 in the comment section, right? Now, we all know NVIDIA was such a high, multi-trillion-dollar market cap. You're not going to get the bags out of it that you once did, right? So that's the whole point of tonight's video, try to find the next NVIDIA. So let's get into the rest of the stock charts. First up, we've got A-Lab. You can see the stock is overvalued. Investors willing to pay a premium for this position, but the stock just getting a buy rating over the last few trading sessions after the steep sell-off. Nice curve here. Could be the beginning of a cup and handle formation. You can see the second side of that cup starting to form here. We'll see where the resistance comes in. Potential level of resistance going forward probably be around 108 to 113, right around this gap here. We see the top of the swing high, the prior swing high. But looking at the forecasted data, the earnings per share, all on the rise. Growth rate, 52%. Sales growth rate, 144%. Now, the sales growth rate is lower than it was 12 months ago. But if we take a look at the earnings growth rate, coming in at 27% and climbing now to 52%. This position, I can already tell you, I like a little bit better. A couple reasons why, right? Undervalued, value on the rise, and a big jump in value from less than $20 now approaching $60. Price action also on the rise along with value. Fresh buy rating. Look at the earnings per share, growth rate, sales growth rate, all on the rise. Nice, steady, stair-step fashion over the last 12 months. Growth rate and earnings, 32%, while the sales growth rate, 67%. This is a good stock to put on your radar. You got Slab, Silicon Labs here. Now, clearly the stock is overvalued. We did get a fresh buy rating here. A lot of these stocks clearly showing that above the 20-day EMA from the technical perspective. Momentum is there. Looks like it could hit a level of resistance coming in from this prior swing high right around 139. So if you're looking for confirmation, get price action above that. And as far as the pullback that we're seeing over the last 2 days here, I can see a level support maybe coming around 128. Maybe treat this like a zone here, potentially to about 123. See if we get a nice pivot, nice bounce off that. Could be a good opportunity. Now, the stock is overvalued, but I do see life coming into the valuation. We see value very stagnant here. The data coming into the NASDAQ exchange, but now some data coming in, bringing valuation from just $28 now to $41. So again, the stock is overvalued. Investors are willing to pay a premium for this. Now, the earnings per share, it's a little wobbly over the last 12 months. It has risen. It is higher than it was 12 months ago. And look at the growth rate in earnings here. We see the growth rate in earnings taking a nice jump after being stagnant. If we take a look here, the growth rate in earnings came in around -8% to come in at 31% here. Sales growth rate was -57%. Now the sales growth rate, 67%. So just in the last few months, the forecasted data went from a very ugly picture, but now Silicon Labs is picking it up when it comes to the forecasted data, and price action is starting to reflect that positive data. Now we're looking at NVMI Nova. You see the price action here on the rise over the last few weeks. Value also starting to tick up more. Now the price action overall the last 12 months, very flat. It's actually lower than it was 12 months ago here. Now let's scoot back a little bit more, see how much consolidation we've had. So you can see the price action here stagnant for several years. A lot of consolidation in the zone here. We're right in the, and we're pretty close to the middle of the consolidation we've seen over the last few years. But taking a look at the forecasted data, I mean, the earnings per share steadily rising, growth rate steadily rising, sales growth rate and earnings coming at 24%, sales growth rate 45%. The stock currently trading at $194. Here we've got Nordic Semi, clearly a smaller cap company, not a lot of volume here. So if you've got a larger account, or if you're planning on getting this position, probably not worth, buying a whole lot just because of the small volume. But hey, you might get lucky here. I mean, look at the valuation. It went from $10, now approaching closer to $22. Fresh buy rating here. Earnings per share starting to tick up. Growth rate in earnings, not very lively, but until the beginning of the year, growth rate in earnings, -6, now coming at 36%. Sales growth rate continues to climb at 108. So I do understand this is a very low volume stock here. But if you want to take a nibble, hey, everything looks pretty good on this position other than the candlesticks and the volume itself. Here we've got Applied Opto. You see price action on the rise, price action way above value, investors willing to pay a premium. The stock came all the way back down, was undervalued situation, bringing some great buying opportunities. Now the technicals looking pretty favorable above that 20-day EMA. We're seeing the weakness in some of the semiconductors over the last few trading sessions. But as long as price action stays above that 20-day EMA, definitely be bullish in the short term. If we take a look at the earnings per share, I mean, not very pretty. Growth rate's not climbing very nicely. 31%, it's a good rating, just not climbing. Sales growth rate is the only thing really in the forecasted data spectrum that's climbing. Went from -23% now to 146. So maybe keep this one on your radar, but right now with 2 down days in a row, I just can't get behind it too much. Here's AMBA currently trading above its 20-day EMA. We don't have the buy rating on the position quite yet. The valuation, pretty stagnant. I mean, there's a little bit of a jump here, but nothing really too concerned about. The valuation went from $11.52 now to $15. The stock trades at 60, so definitely trading at a premium. Earnings per share on the rise. Growth rate, sales growth rate looks pretty good there. 24, 63% respectively. Just the stock is just very overvalued. Treat it like a trade. Trade the chart, not your heart. Greatly overvalued at this point, but you can see the value, but you can see price action bringing it closer to our valuation, and a nice tick up here in our valuation. If I use a trend line, we can see a clear downtrend here, break, nice retest. I like this bottom wick. Buyers coming in, still stagnant. So if you're looking for confirmation, take out this prior swing high. The stock is overvalued right now, but look, there was no life in any of these data points. But recently, as soon as the stock became, closer to our valuation point, earnings per share, big jump up. Growth rate in earnings has jumped up to 22%. And the sales growth rate maxed out at 999. Again, much smaller company here. Now, for any of these companies, if you're thinking about buying them, I would at least just Google them, see what type of, chip, see what type of aspect they bring to the semiconductor manufacturing or equipment side of the industry and the space as itself before just, purchasing the stocks solely based on the information I gave you this evening. Now, if you did find this information informative, a lot of these stocks here, smaller names, probably new names, to put on your radar. I saw some good opportunities here, and hopefully some of these opportunities have the potential to make you some money. Everybody enjoy your evening. Glenn will be back tomorrow night. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the content, and I'll see you next week.